Hello, welcome back to the channel. So this video is from Tabletop Scotland 2025. So this is the first time I've been to Tabletop Scotland, and actually I went with two hats on. Obviously, you know my love of wargaming, and I've been to two wargame shows in Scotland. So do a bit of compare and contrast with traditional wargame show in Tabletop Scotland. But actually, I'm set up a storytelling social enterprise, Critical Chance Collective. No doubt I'll talk about them in some other videos. So I was going to look at like role playing, what's out there, network with some organizations, be inspired. Normally, I don't have time off in September to go, especially at the start of September. It just so happened I had that one day off for a Sunday. Now, Tabletop Scotland is a 3-day event, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I went on the Sunday, drove down. It's at the Royal Highland Centre, which is a massive hall, but you'll see that in pictures coming up. So this is the sort of front half of the hall. So this is trade, this is demo stations, and it's set up in sort of like market rows. Now, I think the attendance was over 6,000 people over the 3 days. There might have been like 8,000 tickets sold, but some of those people went for different days, same ticket, different days. So this is the back half of the hall. So as you can see, lots of tables laid out. So that was organizations could run some events, more of later. Also, people could set up and play some games. Also, at the back of the hall is there was like a painting area, I think, and a bring and buy. Also, as you went in, there was like an upstairs mezzanine level with role-playing games. A lot of the space. This was a bring and buy, mainly board games. There was some tables at the back for role-playing games and some miniatures. So I was able to pick up a copy of Kingmaker, which I played back in the day, and some Dropfleet Commander ships. Now, the bring and buy is cash only, which is both a good thing and a bad thing. Good thing, it's easy for them to administer. Bad thing, I suppose, good thing for me is that there was a few more games I would have bought, but I only took a limited amount of cash. One of the things I really enjoyed was walking around talking to some of the more indie makers. So, fantasy role playing for young adventurers, chatting to these people, picked up a book because some of the stuff I'm going to do with Critical Chance might be with young people, but also with people who are brand new to role playing. So, I need simple systems that make it easy to tell stories. So, we're not running role playing games, I'm running collaborative storytelling. People from Biscuit Fun Games up from Newcastle, they were lovely. Went back and talked to them a few times. Hopefully, be able to collaborate in the future on some stuff. Now, this was the sort of trade stand. Actually, lots of space, lots of gaps between the stalls. You're able to move around. I didn't feel cramped or crunched, despite there being a lot of people there. And I was able to get around, see what I wanted, and talk to the people I wanted to. I pretty much spoke to everybody. That's more pictures. So that's the main road up the middle going up to the front. Our friends from West End Games in Glasgow stand there on the right. This was a really interesting project. I took a photo of to remind me it's a role-playing game set in Pickland, Scotland, and it's fairly sort of detailed and accurate. So yeah, take a photo, remind myself about it. Because Splat, I've got this from MacGuffin Games. Johnny and Sasha from MacGuffin Games, who also did one of my favorite podcasts, the Magnus Archives. If you're into horror, you want something a bit different, check out the Magnus Archives. This was, I am going to pick this role playing game up. Didn't quite have the capacity to pick it up on the day, but this was the best looking stand for me of the whole thing. I do like horror. This is set in sort of medieval horror. And as you can see, they went full out to sort of show off and demo the product. Really nice chatting to them and finding out about it. So, from a miniature point of view, there wasn't that much to engage me. So, I did manage to have a good chat with Chris Peach from Rogue Hobbies, which was really good. and Mighty Games. The Bathgate 3D printing, they've got a venue that sells stuff as well. They were there. And actually, Dave was Mighty Miniatures, maybe. Dave was talking about maybe encouraging a bit more miniatures in the future. These guys, so this is a new place opening up in Glasgow, which is a bespoke role playing venue. Again, really nice couple running it, got some really exciting plans, really fun vampire game. In case you've not seen my World of Darkness Wednesdays, I really like vampire. So regular human larpers, but yeah, something on every weekend, able to hire out. Quest Club, it's at Bridgeton in Glasgow. So not quite where I thought it was, but I do intend to get along and say hello. This was one of the gaming events that's put on. So if you go to Tabletop Scotland, there's some people from Glasgow that put on, Jess and Dimitri, I want to say, put on our Warcry events. And this was really nice, detailed, shows you the care and attention that went into this. So Vash and Bone. So it wasn't just, so I think Saturday there was a match play. This was more of a narrative game on Sunday, and your actions influence the story, and 3 rounds, different things happening. You got to make some statements at the end if you won. And secret. Who doesn't like a secret event during a mini campaign? So let's give you an idea of what some of the companies did and brought along for demos. Lots to do. I say primarily board games and role playing. I didn't see much in the way of card games and not too much miniatures. The Asmodee Battle for Hoth was the new hotness, using like the command and colours system. It looked really nice. I was so tempted, but I'm kind of played out of command and colours. I do remember West End Games, I think they were called, uh, did like a Battle for Hoth game in the 80s, 90s, and that was good fun. If we could get a second-hand copy of that, that'd be great. This fella here is Andy Lever. He does a lot of role playing in Inverclyde with his company here, Lost Haven. Again, really nice catching up with them. And we've got some plans to develop to maybe have some sort of role playing con meetup thing in Glasgow. Certainly to reinvigorate well, not reinvigorate, to help direct the role playing scene, maybe pull it together a bit better, both in Glasgow and Greenock, which is often, I think, the oft forgotten appendage of Glasgow, but there's like 80,000 people live down in Inverclyde. So Andy's also done some stuff which is developing a sort of a Port Glasgow themed role playing event for Port Glasgow 250th anniversary. This was the area you could hire games out of. Well, and those big long tables, you could grab a game, you could go and play it with some people. There was also a tombola there for charity. And there's some people playing some games. So, what was my roundup of Tabletop Scotland? I was there all day. I got there about 10:30, 11 o'clock. I met some people in Glasgow who were going to go back to Glasgow on the train. They'd have to get the bus into Edinburgh and get the train. I says, I'll give you a lift back into Glasgow. And they're boxers and stuff. So I waited till they finished their role playing games at 6, 5:30. So I was able to go around, talk to everybody I wanted to talk to, bumped into loads of people I knew. So some great conversations. And certainly, because I had a bit of an agenda, I was there all day. If I'd have just gone as a war gamer off the spec, it wasn't that much to entertain me. I could comfortably spend 2 days there. I think if I did go, I'd set aside a day for networking and a day for maybe getting in and have some demos. Also, some of the role playing, if I'd have known in advance and booked in some of the role playing sessions, saw some games of Paranoia getting played. Really interested to play some Paranoia and see what's out there. So, yeah, I think I could maybe next year go for 2 days, 3 days at a push, maybe. We'll see. But it's a completely different experience to historical wargaming. Most board games don't have the spectacle of nice tabletop games. There wasn't as much stuff for me to go around, look at, and go, ooh, I see that in my wheelhouse. There's lots of nicely produced board games out there, but five people sat around a table playing a role playing game doesn't look as good as five people sat around a table playing a nice miniatures game. So there we have it. That is Tabletop Scotland. It's coming back next year. It's just been announced about the same time, September, Royal Highland Showground, which is out by Edinburgh Airport. So actually, it's pretty good in that you don't need to drive in Edinburgh to get to it. You kind of coming from the west and the north, you just skirt the outsides of the city and get there. But anyway, if you went to Tabletop Scotland, let me know what you thought. And you know what? If you're interested in finding out a bit more about role playing in Glasgow, board gaming in Glasgow, that sort of thing, drop a subscription because I will be talking a bit more about things. And certainly next year, planning probably is around summertime, June, probably is July, a wee games gathering in Glasgow. Obviously, not on the scale of this. So, yeah, if you're local, give us a shout, stay in contact, and I'll talk to you in another video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Goodbye.